This is from George?
George, what a shock.
Hi, George.
Hi, George.
Keep them coming. We're only teasing.
Yeah, he asks good questions.
What is the optimal number of members in a coven?
1. After that, you get personality conflicts. That's not even my joke. It's a Terry Pratchett truism. I think that's true. Which is why I know our coven is called Solitaries of the Silver Broom, but there's something so magical about being a solitary where you just don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And I also want to throw in there that the other reason why I say a coven of 1 is because you very rarely had a community of witches. You had communities of pagans, usually with 1 witch. Witches are wicked territorial, even to today. Wicked territorial.
And he let me in his home.
Well, obviously we have our friends, but people say, "Oh, why don't you teach in Manhattan?" I'm like, because there are witches in Manhattan that have that ground staked out.
Wearing a pentacle, this is a rapper.
It's not. I'm not really big on stepping on witchy toes. But then the real, I guess, academic or serious answer to that question, the traditional number for members in a coven is 13, which we see that number again and again and again. It's the 12 plus the 1. And Jesus and the disciples, you have the 12 hours that all together make, well, supposedly one day. Obviously, it's 2 halves of a day. It's a morning and an evening. But again, I've seen that number lesser and greater all over the place. I think at last count, Amy just counted at our last meeting, or after our last Coven Care meeting, we have, I think, 62, 63 members nationwide. So obviously we blew the 13 number out of the water a while ago.
Right.
But again, that I have also heard is different from tradition to tradition, that once you reach 13 members, once you hit 14, someone has to hive off and start their own. It seems a little bit like multi-level marketing to me, like Amway, but then again, a degree system is just that in its sense. It's a hierarchy.
But if you're going to raise the energy, if you're trying to accomplish something on a world basis or even on a local basis, if you can get 66 people, to
all
come
focusing
together,
at the same time on the same thing, that's incredibly powerful.
and will cause a quicker and faster movement. I mean, it's.
But is it necessary? I think it depends on the working that has to be done. But I really enjoy the answer of the Coven of 1, because really, a Coven of 1 is peaceful. A Coven of 2 is an argument. A Coven of 3,
Potentially is.
A Coven of 3, at least you have a tiebreaker. So I like the idea of odd numbers, because if it ever does come down to a vote, you can't get and split down the middle. But I also think that it's one of those situations that, hey, if Amy and I said that's it, we're only working with 13 people, I don't think we would have gotten as far as we have, because we've attracted a lot of really, really good people. So we sort of first of all, Amy and I never set out to have a coven. We started practicing just the 2 of us, and then a year and a day later we had all these other people that wanted to join in. So it is something that evolved. But I think, if you're setting up your own coven, you can make that distinction. I only want this number of people. Some people only want a certain number because that's all they can fit in their living room.
Well, that makes sense.
It's a very rational thing to do. It's a very sane boundary to have. We have got a huge space here to work in, so of course we have more people. Good answer?
Thanks,
Good answer.
George.
Good answer. Thank you, George.